Good morning, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I am expecting this one to be a little bit calm because thankfully it seems like a lot of you guys are starting to get your claims cleared up. Oh, I feel like my lipstick is a hot mess today because I'm drinking coffee while I do this. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. Okay. I do have one question from my members only post, so I'm going to read that first. Hope you guys are all doing okay today. And let's see. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Heidi. Heidi, you normally text all the funny emojis. You haven't done that yet today. You got to text us the emojis. Let's see here. Okay, so the only question from the members this morning is, it's from Michelle, and she says, Happy Valentine's Day. She talked to someone at the EDD. They filed a new claim for her, which cleared her pending week, and she's wondering when her balance might resume. The person she talked to at the EDD transferred the pending week to the new claim and said it should be a few days. It really should only take a few days to clear up, but if it takes longer, since she told you it would just be a few days, I would go ahead and call them back. Okay. Since there's not too many of you this morning, go ahead and like the video, but I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the beginning of the comments. Vanessa says, do you feel the 1.4 million claims that went through ID verification in January is just wave one? Are they still randomly picking accounts to suspend or doing it in mass waves every 3 months or so? I think that the majority of people that are going to need to verify their ID have already been asked to do it, with the exception of, I know all new PUA claims are supposed to have to verify ID, and a lot of us are all reaching our benefit year, and most of PUA doesn't have to try and open a new claim, but people on regular unemployment do. And I don't know if when they make us try and reopen a claim, if that will flag ID verification. I like to just kind of encourage everybody to be prepared that they might have to do that. That way, if you're asked, you have all your documents ready. John Francis says, do you know what will happen to your unemployment benefits if you go out of the country for vacation? What I mean is if you go to your own country for vacation. So here's the deal. You have to be available to accept work. So I think technically you're not supposed to be able to collect benefits if you're not able to actually work. However, it's not going to know if you certify for benefits from another country. I don't think that would flag it. And maybe you would come back to work for the right job opportunity. Maybe you would stop your vacation early. Like maybe you would be able to, sorry, my nose is about to run. Maybe you would be able to work from vacation if the right opportunity came up. So as long as you would either come back from your vacation to take the right job offer, or if you would work from vacation for the right job offer, then you could certify honestly and say that you are able and available to accept work and collect benefits. You know what I mean? Okay. Ben says, I hear that 3 to 4 claims, sorry guys, with the same address is fine and won't cause flags. It's ones with say 20 or more at one address. Did you hear that frozen credit reports also caused ID verification? Absolutely. No, that wouldn't, sorry. I didn't hear that a frozen credit report would cause ID verification, but I made 2 videos, you guys. If you have been asked to verify your ID, they're saying that the deadline to get that complete is tomorrow. So please make sure that you guys complete that by tomorrow if they've asked, even if you have to wait over 5 hours to talk to a referee. What I heard was that if you've been asked to have your credit card report locked or frozen, that can cause issues with them verifying who you are. Also, if there's any errors on your credit report, that could cause an issue as well. So what I'm recommending is that if you've been asked to verify your ID, before you go on to ID.me, unlock your credit report, then make sure the EDD gets your credit or your verification, and then lock your credit card report back up. Hope that answers that. Aaron says, hello. I certified this morning and clicked yes to looking for work, but it didn't ask me to list any job searches. It switches to paid, so I'm all good. Thanks for everything. I am glad to hear that. Venuno says, hi. I have worked part-time. I made $2,500 for over 3 months. Do you think I qualify for the extra 300? If you get even $1 in benefits, if you qualify for $1 in unemployment benefits, then you qualify for the extra 300. So if you haven't applied yet for unemployment, just apply, see if what you're making makes you eligible. If you get that excessive earnings warning and therefore you don't get $1 from unemployment, then you wouldn't get it for that week. Okay, Joel says, I have 2 other people collecting unemployment in my place. I have no ID issues. I will say this, when my benefit year ends in 3 weeks and I need to file a new claim, ID verification, here I go. Yeah, I think that's possible. I think when we have to file a whole new claim, even though it technically says only PUA claims have to do that, I think there's a good chance that that's going to mean the rest of us need to do it as well. Good morning, Andrew. He says, I don't have questions, but I have to say this. I think many of us will need to collect unemployment past March because COVID is still here, and he'll be watching my channel for updates. He also has a really fun channel, kind of some puns and some dances and some fun things about, like, fun, sad things about the EDD and how long it's taken him to get paid on his claim. So check out his channel. And he's commenting on a poll that I made on like my community page. I don't exactly know how you guys find those polls. I'm kind of wondering when you guys all think we'll be back to work. And so I kind of asked if you guys thought we'd be back to work in 3 months, 6 months, or more than a year. And I got quite a few of you guys, like I am, where you work in like entertainment venues and you're just not sure those are ever coming back. I work in a movie theater. Somebody said that they think those are gone for good. Some of you said that you're working, but it's not at all the same as it was. So yeah, I tend to think it's going to be a while before things are truly back to normal. Joseph says, how long does it take to receive my benefits after they change my 0 claim balance to max benefits? It still shows 0, but they changed it. So you probably mean you got the letter saying you were approved for the next extension, and surprise, surprise, they're backlogged on that. It usually, or it used to update by the next certification date. Now it seems to be taking about 3 weeks. And if you call them and get through, they're normally able to make it so you can certify and get paid again right away. Jillian says, when our benefit years end in March or April, maybe we'll get lucky and the stimulus bill will not require filing a new year. Yeah, we haven't seen the wording on that. So, but they're saying that the new stimulus bill isn't actually going to pass until about the middle of March. So they are fast tracking it. But I think my benefit year ends like March 13th because I was furloughed March 15th. And I think a lot of it's going to cross paths. And I hate to say this, but so I'm right between where I would be still collecting PEUC if it's extended, or if it's not extended, rolling over onto Fed Ed claim. And then, of course, the whole benefit year ending. And I'm worried that while they're transitioning us, that some of us this round might be stuck in like where our old benefit year ends and like the new programs kick in. And I just would encourage everybody to have some savings because I think there could be some lags in getting our benefits. And you guys know that I like Yada Savings Bank. It's a whole thing. It's at the end of most of the videos and it'll be linked later in the description, but try and save some money in case there's hiccups in the rollout. Bella says, happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you as well. Please take a minute and like the video. Black Jade says, my benefit year was 1/26/2020. I certified last week. I didn't get paid. It says pending payment. Does this mean my EDD has expired? I still had a balance of $2,850. So it is my understanding that you need to try and file an entirely new claim. And what's happening to a lot of people that go past their benefit year is it's allowing them to certify, but it's staying stuck on pending. And from what I hear, that once you open a new claim, that's what clears up the pending week. And you can call them to have them help you with that. If you qualify for a whole new claim, they're putting those weeks, it seems like, on the new claim. And if you don't qualify, that's when they'll let you keep getting your extra, like drawing down that balance of 2,850. And then when that's done, they would potentially add more weeks of PEUC. So yeah, I would call them, and then they can help get that moving faster. Sorry. And I take a drink like the video. Joseph says, I get 2,400 in back pay, they said. Thank you. And they love my advice. So you are very welcome, Joseph. Vanessa says, forgot to say, happy Valentine's Day. I would be a celebrating, but I don't have a man right now. Where are all the good dudes anyhow? Well, it's COVID and quarantine. So we're really not supposed to be out like meeting new people anyway. So this one's going to have to be a solo one for a lot of us. But I did wear like my little heart-shaped sweater. I thought that would, well, it's not a heart-shaped sweater, but it's got little hearts on it. So I thought that'd be perfect for Valentine's Day. Cute Kitty says, my benefit is down to 0 this week. And will be my certified week. EDD was sending me something to my inbox that it's maybe automatic extension, but I don't see anything and I can't certify now. So they are backlogged on a lot of stuff, and calling can kind of get everything moving faster. So even though it's a pain to call, since it is faster once you finally get a hold of someone, that is what I'm recommending. Ben says Valentine's Day, and he's single, so just buy himself a heart-shaped box of chocolates and cry in the corner. Well, that's a goth thing, right? I think Papa John's also has a heart-shaped pizza, you guys. So I might do that later with my roommate. We'll have to see. Okay. My little thing lost its place again. Little Rambo's in here. He's back to work, so that's awesome. Oh, shoot. Where are we going here? Sorry, I found my place now. And I'm like 12 minutes behind, which isn't too bad for me. Okay, Jay Leans says, California EDD on PUA sent wage info they wanted. Now they lowered my weekly amount and claim amount minus. Will they still pay me? They should still pay you, but it sounds like at a lower amount. And I'm wondering, yeah, I mean, so they should still pay you, but it just might be lower. If you were someone that like accidentally reported your gross wages at the beginning and what they really wanted was net, they are going to be adjusting everything down. Sorry, my glasses are dirty now. What is going on? You guys, my life is not organized. Okay, this is fun. We're just going to clean it with the sleeve of my sweater. Okay. Myra says, I have a claim of 0, but it says to certify in 221. Do I continue to certify? Absolutely. Because they're probably in the middle of rolling you over to the next extension. And so it's normal to have a $0 claim balance, and seeing the next date that you can certify is good. That's a very good sign. Roxette, thank you for the donation. Sending questions below. Happy Valentine's Day. Roxette, I will be on the lookout for your questions, and I believe you're a member, so it will highlight them and make them easier for me to find. You guys are all saying Happy Valentine's Day. What's the message people got this morning? So people got a couple of messages. Some people that were denied Fed Ed at the end of last year, they were put onto PUA claims. And now basically you're going back to PEUC. And for some people, that's going to be more money. And for some people, that's going to be less money. The other message that people got this morning is some people whose claim balance hit 0 before December 26th, they're finally being told that they can certify starting the week of March 7th. So both of those notices went out this morning. That was from FGA. Heidi sent me the emojis. Remember, Heidi's someone that I used to work with, and on all the holidays, she sends like heart emojis on Valentine's Day or tree emojis on Christmas Day, and it's just kind of nice. Carla says, I don't know why I'm only getting 1 week for February 15th. So that can be because that will be the amount that will take your claim to 0. And then once it hits 0, that's when they can load up the next extension. Jesus says, my balance will go down to 0 by March 7th. after March 7th is EDD done? Not necessarily. They could, if you're on regular unemployment, they could see if you had a PUA, not PUA, they could see if you qualified for Fed Ed. They can, if your benefit year is over after March 7th, you could potentially qualify for a whole new claim. So there are options after March 7th. And plus there's that new stimulus bill that they're talking about that, will hopefully extend all of this. Gonzo Hazel says, again, Shelly, they stopped my EDD, again, pending. Call them, and it really can be, I've seen that if you don't change the way that you answer the certification questions, that 1 through 6 on the main page, you only want to answer yes to question 3. If you're answering those questions differently than that, it's going to flag it every time. So call them. Bella says, can you please, readjust the camera so you can see the cute sweater. That's a weird angle though. We could keep it like this. Who knows? I feel like that's a super weird angle. But anyway, Johnny says, I'm on PEUC. My claim balance hit 0 and 2 pay periods. Do I get the Fed Ed extension? So I don't know, because to get Fed Ed, you need to meet the wage requirements. And the wage requirements are that you need to have made, in the whole base period, 40 times your weekly benefit amount or 1.5 times your highest earnings quarter. And if you meet those requirements, then yes, it would probably be Fed Ed that you would get. If not, they would see if you, they would potentially put you onto a PUA claim. But again, those programs are they expire March 13th, but then they phase out through April 10th. And then we're waiting for a whole new stimulus package to pass. Myra says it should automatically have an extension. That's correct. Andrew says, I hope that we all have smooth sailing on unemployment until we get our jobs back. I know I'm ready to go back to work. You'll be back at work soon, Shelly. Movie theaters, and Los Angeles has to get their cases down below, I want to say it's like 1,400 cases a day for 14 days in a row. We're still at about 3,000 cases a day. So it'll be a little while. Maria says, I filed a new claim, but my previous weeks are still pending. I would call them about that. They are backlogged though. So calling like basically speeds up the backlog process, and they're able to kind of push it through faster. Jane is from South California. How long does it take for them to extend my regular unemployment? I'm still in your benefit year. They're backlogged, and calling can speed it up. I don't know how backlogged they are, because it seems like most people are going ahead and calling. I know that I have 2 people that still have that reopen claim button stuck on their claims. Even one of my friends, I was like, I'll just call for you. And I called twice and they were like, no, you can't get through. And I was like, no, this calling twice is not enough. Like, you gotta be prepared to spend like an hour just redialing. But they didn't want to do it even with my help. So whatever. But they're pretty backlogged. I mean, those 2 people haven't been able to certify since December. Michael says, are they extending EDD until June or September? Neither. The current date is through August 29th. And yeah, Menace is saying that the 29th, I got 11 weeks filed for me and I had 0 claim. And since then, I haven't gotten anything yet. And I have the reopen claim button since then. Is it supposed to take this long? No, it should not take this long. And that's why I'm kind of like now recommending that people go ahead and call. Vicky says, on the ID verification, it says go back to your browser. And when we do, it takes us back to the beginning to start ID verification. But we never get the email saying that it's done. There is like, I want to say that you're supposed to like totally close out of the browser. And there's like a little PDF. Like if you Google IDMe verification, EDD, it should take you to that page that has like the instructions about that. Also reach out to them on Twitter. If you're still having trouble doing ID.me, reach out to them on Twitter. They're pretty responsive on that. So I would just tweet at them. Their CEO, I want to say his name is Blake Hall. He's pretty responsive as well. I'm tempted to tell you you're supposed to totally close out of that, but I can't remember for sure. And also, if you can, try not to use Safari as the browser because that's causing hiccups. We already said good morning to Little Rambo. Eliam says, I applied on December 26th. If I certify by referee on December 30th of 2020. Later, mid-January, I was able to claim, but my claims all said pending. I called, they don't help at all. And again, I'm not sure why that would be. If your ID is verified, reach out to your assembly members also if you're having trouble. Carla says, why am I only getting 1 week pay for February 14th? The February 6th is missing. That should not be the case. So you didn't already certify for February 6th, like possibly last week. If you're missing weeks, go ahead and give them a call. And I'm so sorry that that's the answer. Okay. Emily says, my niece finished her IDMe verification January 30th. It's been a full couple of weeks. We called EDD and they said another week. Sounds right. Any ideas here? The EDD has said that it's only supposed to take 7 to 10 days if you did ID.me, but then I'm seeing reports that they're backlogged and it's taking up to 8 weeks. But that is not what the EDD said in writing. They said 7 to 10 days. And my worry is that you can be pending for multiple reasons. So it might have started off as ID verification, but it also could have to do with the way you've answered certification questions or if your benefit year is over. So if they say to wait, I would either call again plus reach out to your assembly member. I don't really recommend waiting at this point because like a lot of people that they've told to wait, it hasn't cleared up on its own. Juice says, yesterday I got through to a tier 2 agent. I had not paid weeks and had weeks I didn't certify because they wouldn't show. He fixed everything with 5 minutes and now I have 5 weeks that all say paid. So see, that's the thing is that 9 out of 10 times, if you call and get the right rep, they're able to fix it right away. So, and then there are just a very few people that won't be able to get their claims fixed until around March 7th. And that's for people who had their claim balance hit 0 before December 26th. A lot of you saying that you only had 1 week to certify and then you're certifying next Sunday. I was moved from PUA to PEUC extension. So that just might be while they're switching you back. They just want you to certify today, and then you'll have weeks to certify under the new extension. As long as you're able to certify and get paid, I wouldn't worry too much about that. And even though earlier I was like, oh, that might be while it's taking you from one claim to another, which it seems like is what's happening in your case. Other people are reporting more and more only being able to certify for 1 week. And I know that the EDD used to be able to do that. Like if you were having a hardship, they would just open up 1 week to get you paid at a time. So I'm going to have to dig deeper into that. And welcome Ed as a new member, but I feel like you were a member before. But if you weren't, thank you for becoming a member. Tixta says, I opened a new claim because my claim ended the 3rd of this month. I still see the same in my EDD account. I don't know if I was supposed to open a new claim until my benefits ran out of money. Not necessarily. So it's really normal to still have a claim balance left and your benefit year to be over. And it is my understanding that you were supposed to open the whole new claim. You can always call them to double check and just say, hey, I haven't been able to certify. It's been 3 weeks since I opened a new claim. What happened? Clint, that's what, says, hey, Shelly, I've been lucky enough to get my money every 2 weeks plus the extension with it. Next week will be my last benefits payment. So hopefully this extension lasts a little while. Yeah, so the extensions all phase out by April 10th, but hopefully whatever they come up with in the future, this next stimulus package is looking to go through at least August. So I'm hoping that gives the EDD plenty of time to upgrade their computer system and get things running smoothly, before we have to think about this again. Okay, so NC says, do I need to report capital gains to EDD after I sold my stock for profit? Possibly, but it would be on that other income page, and you would only need to report the amount that was profit. So I think that would be like, did you receive any other earnings or income? And so then you would need, I think there's the section to do like stocks and dividends. Those questions that aren't tied into earnings, like when it's vacation pay or royalties or WARN pay, those don't always lower your weekly benefit amount, though, even for that 1 week when you get those profits, because they're not actually wages earned from working, but you are supposed to report them. It's the same as like if you win a jackpot, technically it's unearned income and you're supposed to report it, but it's not supposed to affect your weekly benefit amount. Clear as mud, right? Okay, so Edward says, I got a message saying additional 11 weeks of benefits after the IDMe verification. So that's good, it sounds like. Although I think the wording is up to 11 weeks. At this point, it's not going to be a full 11 weeks. Right now, the latest anything's going to take us through is April 10th. That's why we're really waiting to see what's in that new stimulus package. Jason says, my balance is at 0 and I only got paid for 1 week of payment. Do I file for Fed Ed assistance or is this done automatically? It is supposed to be done automatically, but they're running so far behind that it's faster if you call and get through. Eliam says, I applied on December 26th. I've done certification. I've been certifying every 2 weeks, but it still says pending. So again, I would call them if you completed everything on December 26th and it's been this much time and you haven't been paid. Not only would I call them, but I would also send a message through Ask EDD, send a message to Contact Us, and reach out to your assembly member. Daniel says, I just received the message about switching to PUA to PEUC. What is that about? Thanks. So hang on. I'm going to take a sip of coffee and if I could have you guys like the video. So in the stimulus bill that passed on December 27th, that was a requirement. The Department of Labor told all of the employment offices in all of the states, hey, if you put people on PUA because they didn't qualify for Fed Ed, now that we have 11 extra weeks of PEUC, that's really what they should be getting. So now they're just switching you back from PUA to PEUC. And that could change your weekly benefit amount. It's going to go back to whatever your benefit amount was before you were put on PUA. For some people, that's going to be a little bit less. For some people, it's going to be more. And that doesn't affect the extra $300 that you're getting. But guys, just a reminder, the extra $300, that only goes through the week ending March 13th. That doesn't phase out through April 10th. But what they're looking at now is the $400 a week boost. But will they get that stimulus bill passed in time for there not to be gaps in that? We will see. Okay. Pigeon says your PUA switched to PEUC and the amount changed. Will I still get the extra $300 if I was a mind reader? Yes, you will. As long as you're getting at least $1 in benefits, and you would only get like $1 in benefits if you worked enough to like make it go down to $1. But yeah, you will still get the extra $300. As long as you get anything from unemployment, you also get the extra $300. Angela says, you just ran out to 0. Should you wait for the PEUC extension? Yeah, because they are supposed to give that to you automatically. There is a little bit of a backlog. You will probably see the maximum benefits paid message. That's normal. There is backlog, so you might not be able to certify again in 2 weeks. Most people are saying if it clears up automatically, it takes 3 weeks, but most people aren't patient enough to wait, so they're just going ahead and calling. But I would maybe give it the 2 weeks, confirm that you're not able to certify 2 weeks from today. And if you can't, that is probably when I would call. Karen says, happy Valentine's Day. That's all. Thank you. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you. My little heart sweater. Okay. Alex says, I called Friday and waited 15 minutes. They helped me request an extension. I have not been paid since 1/25. My benefit year ends in March and my claim balance hits 0. So I'm waiting. Yeah, but if they helped you and they requested the extension, that should clear up soon. Serge says, any suggestions on dealing with fraudulent withdrawals on the EDD card? I submitted a claim. Is fraud on the rise? My neighbor also got his account withdrawn. You guys, I think I'm going to remake a video on that. Please, 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 like, even stop watching this live. I don't even care. Set up your Bank of America for automatic transfers. Some of you don't have regular bank accounts, and I'm not sure why. We had employees that didn't have regular bank accounts too. I know that some people just don't trust banks, but I would sign up for a regular bank account if you don't have one, and then set up those Bank of America funds on your EDD card to go into your regular bank account. And I didn't do that right away because I didn't know, like, I was still working sometimes. I wasn't sure which weeks were going to have a boost and which weeks weren't. And I thought I needed to know like the exact dollar amount that was going in to the Bank of America card that I would want to transfer, but you don't. You can literally, there's a drop down option and you can just choose entire amount. So whatever amount the EDD gives you, it will just transfer the entire amount to your bank account. And the other option is to lock your card. But if you have a bank account, the best thing to do is just set up those automatic recurring transfers for the entire amount of like your check that you're getting. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm still seeing lots of fraud attempts. So please, please, please try and protect yourselves from that. Roxette says, hello. And I'm going to go ahead and skip down to her question because she kind of gave a donation and then just said, hey, my question's in the comments, be on the lookout for it. So I'm going to read hers and then I'll scroll back up. I miraculously got through to a tier 2 on Friday. She paid out my 4 weeks that were pending and she said I need to file a new claim, which she did for me. And then I would be under a claim review. My claim balance is like $465, I think. Will that be fixed after my claim review? I didn't think to ask her. So here's what happens when you file for a new claim, whether you have a balance or not. If you qualify for a whole new claim, that you'll just kind of lose that $465. But you'll have like 26 more weeks of unemployment, plus potentially any extensions that would take you through August 29th when we think the new stimulus bill will go through. And then plus, if California is still in a high unemployment period, which we will very likely still be even after August, then you would qualify for Fed Ed. So it's kind of like, even though you'd be losing the 465, you would qualify for a whole new claim. Now, if you don't qualify for a whole new claim, that's when they would let you continue drawing down the $465 on your existing claim. And then they would also add up to 11 weeks of PEUC, except for you're not going to be able to use the whole 11 weeks of this PEUC because this program expires April 10th. But then we think the whole new stimulus package will go through that takes us through August 29th. But then after August 29th, if you didn't qualify for a whole new claim, you probably wouldn't have enough to like then also qualify for Fed Ed. So it's actually better if you qualify for a whole new claim. I don't know how to quite explain that, but that should be how that would work. Okay. David says, It does. I helped my dad apply for regular unemployment and ID verification had to do. So he ran to the DMV because I need to reapply March 20th. Yes, if you guys know that your claim year is ending and you have any documents that are expired, go ahead and take care of that right now. I think for IDs through the DMV, you can even, if it's just like an expired ID, I think you can request that online and they're arriving at people's homes in about 7 to 10 days. Minna says, oh, this is more info for my question. I received a check on the 17th of last month for the beginning of the month, and my claim balance hit 0 after that day. Minna, now I don't remember what the beginning of your question was, though. I'm so sorry. Okay. The Kiki Monique says, do you help with people that haven't had an extension yet? What do we do? So the extensions are supposed to be automatic, but every time the EDD says automatic, let's just assume that that means, but hey, if you can't certify in 2 weeks like you're expecting to, you're going to need to call them. And you don't necessarily like need to call them, but calling them gets the ball rolling faster than leaving it to the EDD to do automatically. But yeah, if you haven't had any extensions and you're just now kind of getting to the end of your claim, that's, there are still more benefits available to you through April 10th. Christy says, happy day. Oh, and she sent money and a slot machine and fire. Money bags. Okay. Maria says, can I apply for unemployment? Oh, she retracted it. I don't see the end of yours, Maria. You can always try applying for unemployment and then they will, they'll let you know if you qualify or not. And then bad grandpa, who's not really a bad grandpa, he's a good grandpa. He told tall tales to his grandkids that Santa couldn't deliver presents because of COVID. But that's very sweet. You're just protecting them, which I think is cute. They'll remember the cute lie you did for them. But happy Valentine's Day. Sorry, I'm scrolling. I lost my place. Roxette said she did not get a message this morning. Yep, that happens. Let's see here. Okay, found my place. Yeah, I mean, you can always try and apply for unemployment. If you don't qualify, they won't approve the claim. Nina says, I hope they will pass the stimulus package about the middle of March so EDD can get the extension benefit. Will end 4/10. Yeah, the middle of March, I wish they would do it now because look how long it's taken. The EDD hasn't been able to fix some people's claims since December 27th. That's like practically 2 months almost at this point. And it will be more than 2 months by the time some of those people can certify on March 7th. So I'm just really hoping that they don't wait till the last minute. Tixta says, Tixta, I don't know how to say your name. Says, I opened a new claim and after a week, I received an email from the EDD saying that I made changes in my name and address, even though I didn't make any change in this information. Please call them because that could be potential fraud. And there's even a fraud hotline on the EDD page. I would look for that and say, hey, I think, something's going on because I did not make changes to my name or address. That is very concerning to me. So you definitely want to call them about that. Young Pop says, I mailed and sent back the California ID front and back and bank statement. Should just this change the DQ back to pending or paid? I still have a balance. I even tweeted Blake Hall. So that is good that you tweeted him, but it says that you mailed and sent back the California ID and bank statement. Mailing takes a long time. So because I'm confused if you mailed it while you tweeted the ID.me people. So if you have a disqualification, sometimes that's going to mean that you need to file an appeal. I would call the EDD and see what they say. But if you get a determination letter in the mail that says disqualification and why you were disqualified, and it comes with an appeal form to send back the appeal form because that's a long process and you're going to want to get that going right away. JC sends some hearts. Dennis says, what comes after we reach the end of our PEUC claim, but still within our claim year in September 2021? So this is probably your first PEUC extension. There's still another PEUC extension that would take you through April 10th. And then we're waiting on a whole new stimulus bill to pass that would go through August. Now you're saying your claim year doesn't end until September of 21. So after that, then they would see if you qualified for Fed Ed. Or you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we have to see a fourth stimulus package. I really wouldn't. Like a lot of you, I don't think the workforce is going to be back where it was in the next 3 months or in the next 6 months. I do think it's going to be a year or longer, which was one of the options on those polls. So I wouldn't be surprised if something else comes out at the last minute, right before the stimulus bill that they haven't even passed yet, which is going to go through August if it passes. I wouldn't be surprised if right then they start to talk about a fourth stimulus package. So we're just going to have to kind of see. But Dennis, there should be something that will at least take you through August. Then if we're on a high unemployment rate, then you would get Fed Ed if you meet the earnings requirements. Uh-oh. I think I'm allergic to something. I don't know. Because I haven't been anywhere, so I've got delivery. They better not give me COVID on Valentine's Day. I've been mad. All right. Larry says, I think I'm allergic to something. I got some blueberry shots added to the coffee that I think are messing me up here. Larry says, why was I switched from PUA to PEUC and not paid? So you should get paid, but you got switched from PUA to PEUC because they had to. It was written in the law. So that probably means you were denied Fed Ed late last year, and they're just required to put you back on PEUC instead of being on a PUA claim. Tony says, I'm in phase 2. Thank God I got certification day of next Sunday. Happy Valentine's Day. That is awesome that you can certify again. I'm sorry for the long wait that you've already had. Larry says, I got Larry's and I got Tony's. So I'm on Yosef's. If I cannot verify it by tomorrow, will I be able to open a new claim in the future? Probably. But Yosef, please, if you were asked to verify ID and you can't get it done by tomorrow, call them and ask them if they can give you an extension. And even better than calling is actually, in this case, going through Ask EDD and the contact us message on on your UI Online homepage. Because that way, even if you didn't mail them a request for an extended timeline, then at least you have something in writing that you tried to ask for an extension. You know what I mean? So ask for an extension through your UI Online contact us page and let them know that you're still gathering your documents. George wants to know, do I do private consulting? If so, where can I contact you? George, that's so nice that you would trust me to help you. I do not do private consulting because I don't actually work for the EDD. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just somebody kind of stuck in this mess with you guys. So I try and figure it out. The best way to ask me questions is actually on these lives. And I think you guys, I like doing the lives. I do them Sunday mornings for sure at 11 a.m. every Sunday morning. I've been doing one on Mondays at 6 o'clock as well, but a lot of you are starting to get your claims fixed, which is great news, but it's meaning the attendance is kind of lower on these. So I don't know if that's overkill, but I think I'm going to still do one at least tomorrow, see like what the turnout is for that, because I like them. I actually wish we could do Zooms so that you guys could like talk back to me. Maybe I should add like a membership, like a cheap membership where we take everything off of YouTube and do it on a Zoom so that you guys could talk back to me and be like, no, Shelly, you're not understanding. Because I worry about that. And I worry like when you guys ask like half a question and then it says message continued and I don't find it or I don't remember what the earlier question was. Anyway, I'll try and look into that, but I don't do any private consulting right now. So on the lives, either Sunday at 11 a.m. or Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Rich Says happy Sunday and Valentine's to everyone, but then he has a broken heart. Is it broken because GameStop didn't go back up? I am Swill's pickled liver. I have called a million times only for an adjuster to tell me that she's turning my not paid weeks to paid. Well, but that would be good if the adjuster said that. But are you saying that that's not actually happening? But if they're turning your weeks to paid, that should be good. Michelle says, I still haven't received my extension letter. I was supposed to certify it today, but it still says maximum benefits. Last time I certified was 2-2. So I am hearing that while that's normal, that they're backlogged. And if you call them, it gets it moving faster. You could also try reaching out to your assembly member for that. I've heard that they're about 3 weeks behind. So where would that put us on 2-2? That's almost... or that this would be your second week, right? Well, you said 2-2. That's a Tuesday that I'm showing. Anyway, I'm hearing that they're about a week behind on that, but you could definitely call them and then they're able to get it moving faster and write to your assembly member and say, hey, this was supposed to fall off my account, but it didn't. Veronica says still waiting on December and January first few weeks, but they allowed me to get all the other weeks. What is going on with my back pay? I already called and they said they would fix it, but nothing yet. Okay, so that was supposed to happen to people who hit the reopen claim button on their own. And the EDD just said that it would automatically fix, but they gave no timeline when that would automatically fix. Maybe try reaching out to your assembly member and saying, hey, they told me this, but it's been a really long time. When am I getting those weeks? Oh, well, they told you to wait 48 hours. Has it been more than 48 hours yet? Yeah. How many times have they told you to wait 48 hours? Because if they just told you that like today, if they gave you like that specific of a timeline, it really should change pretty quickly. Tony says your certification questions are the same, but you're still pending. I don't know. Okay. Oh, Roxette, you've got more questions. A tier 2 fixed your issues, paid out 4 weeks pending, and filed a new claim. She said I would be under claim review now. My claim balance is okay, but we did answer that, Roxette. I hope you heard that answer. Do you still send your tax on April? So I'm actually hearing a lot of reports that say there's a better benefit to doing your taxes early. I have not done my taxes yet. If there were to be tax forgiveness on any of the unemployment money, I don't think that would be in time for this tax season, and it might have to actually be a credit on next year's taxes. So I think all the changes that they're going to be put in place in time for this year are already done. At this point, I don't see any reason to wait to file taxes. In the new stimulus bill, as it's written now, and it hasn't passed, there's not anything about forgiving unemployment taxes. And maybe you're talking about how last year they bumped the deadline to July 15th. I wouldn't be surprised if they bumped the deadline again, but I don't know. I think I'm personally leaning towards now filing as soon as I have everything together and ready. My personal taxes are a mess this year because I did have a regular job, then I got the unemployment, and then I've made a tiny bit of money for YouTube, but then like I invested in things like in a new laptop for these streams. So my stuff's not organized. But I am, I think, gonna file as soon as I get my stuff organized. So within the next week or so. And the IRS just started accepting returns on the 12th. So that was just this past Friday. So yeah, I don't see a reason to wait right now. I think I would go ahead and file early because they're saying that because of the other changes that were already done, like the system's a little wonky. So the faster you file your taxes, if you get a refund, the faster you'll get that refund. So, but if you want to wait till April, you certainly can. They might extend the deadline, but they haven't yet. Jonathan says, my California Fed Ed extension is supposed to end in May, but my benefit year ends in March. Will I still get PEUC? Ooh, it's a loaded question, Jonathan. So here's what should happen with your claim. When your benefit year ends in mid-March, they are supposed to make you file a new claim, or you can call them and file a new claim with them. See if you qualify right over the phone. If you do qualify, all that balance goes away and you just get a new claim. If you don't qualify, that's when you would get to draw down the balance on your current Fed Ed through May. And then the PEUC, the current one, ends April 10th. So there wouldn't be any PEUC for you to draw down. However, by May, the new stimulus bill should be passed by then. And then you would get more PEUC if you weren't already on a new claim. You know what I mean? It's a mess. I hope that made sense, but that's how it's supposed to work. JB says, days away from being homeless, and I wondered if you had any thoughts on my situation. I haven't received a payment since December 20th. So I'm just going to say that my heart goes out to you. December 20th, that probably means that you are phase 2, and they should be letting you certify by March 7th. And right now, there still is an eviction ban. So if you are in a home, please go to a library will let you use their computer and their printer, type up a letter and give it to your landlord and explain that the reason why you're behind on your rent is because you're waiting on payments from the EDD. Make sure to let them know that you would be working and you wouldn't be behind on your rent if it weren't for COVID. Try and communicate with everyone you can to let them know what's going on. They're not supposed to be able to evict you right now. And just best of luck to you. I'm really sorry that you're in that situation. They should be moving your claim along soon. And don't give up. And there's no shame in going to a food bank. There's no shame in asking for help. And you know what else? Somebody told me that like a lot of the Catholic organizations actually have like rental assistance and stuff. You know, however you're using the computer and the internet to join this chat, please Google like Catholic charities. And you don't have to be a member of the faith. You just have to need the resources. It doesn't matter what religion you are, but a lot of the Catholic charities are offering rental assistance, even up to like, I've read up to $4,000. So just really good luck and don't give up hope. And I'm so sorry that that's where you're at. Okay. David says, I just got an email from IDMe that was successfully verified, but it still says disqualified on my online account. Should I just wait the 7 to 10 days? David, I would call them. Disqualified is normally not a good sign, so I would call them to see what they say. And then this is David B. says, thank you for being awesome. Keep up the YouTube even after this. I will. I'm going to try and switch into finance. You guys, let me know how much you would like or hate this. I see a lot of videos that are like millionaire reacts. And you guys know that I watch like Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin. He's been doing like home tours, and I want to make like a reaction video to that. Is that something you guys would be into? Like, I don't know, because I have a very different perspective on his $1.1 million home. I don't know what to call it. I don't know how to title that video, and I don't know if that's something you guys are interested in because it wouldn't necessarily help you with your claims, but I feel like I could react in a funny manner to that. But I also can't figure out how to use the editing programs in my computer to do that. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I want to do YouTube even after this. Brooke says, my claim will end in April and I still have a balance because I can work part-time. I'm on regular UI. If I have a balance, will I have to reapply for a new claim? Thank you. It is my understanding, and I went through the whole flow chart, but even what's so hard right now for YouTubers like me and Jenny that are trying to help you guys is that the EDD doesn't exactly seem to be keeping their word, even on the things that they're putting in writing. But what the EDD has put in writing is that once your benefit year ends, you're supposed to apply for a new claim. So yes, even with a balance, it's my understanding that you'll need to apply for a new claim. And you guys know my benefit year is ending March 13th, which is when most of, so that's even earlier than yours in April. That's when a lot of us first got on unemployment. So I'll for sure let you guys know what I have to do and what my experience is when that time comes for me. And hopefully that'll be timely with when it's happening on your claims as well. Jerome says, Happy Valentine's Day. Amanda says, can phase 2 people call to manually get our weeks added? No, it's because that is really some kind of computer programming thing that's not completely up and ready right now. So the call will not help if you know that you're in phase 2. But call your landlord, let them know what's going on. Call your creditors, ask them if they're able to pause your credit card payments. Be in communication with those people. Apply for the grants from the Catholic organizations, regardless of your religion. But that's not something they can manually fix. And guys, somehow, even with not a lot of you on, I'm about 45 minutes behind on this. So I'll probably try and do this for about an hour and 15 minutes today. So about another 20 minutes. If I don't get to your questions, I'm really sorry. But maybe join the live tomorrow night. Monday night was a lot slower than Sunday morning, probably because those are newer. But Monday at 6, I go live as well. Mr. Impact says, I called for 3 days and got through at 8:05. My payment status still says pending. EDD says that with the new programming, if you answer sick, even for 1 day, you will be delayed for weeks. Yes, Mr. Impact. I've been trying to make videos on this. The weird thing is, like, guys, try and make sure that you hit subscribed all, because then you get the videos in order. But I made a video trying to warn about that. You got to be honest, but so questions 1 through 6 should all be no, except for number 3, which should be yes. But yeah, if you answer, like, that would be question 1, were you too sick or injured to work? That would have been a yes. Then they're going to potentially say that you really should have either been getting sick pay from your employer or disability. So yeah, if you were sick, then they're going to probably need to do a determination interview with you, and that's going to put your claim in review, and it's going to delay it for weeks. So I'm sorry that that's what's happening, but hopefully they'll get you sorted out soon. Also, maybe write to your assembly member. They can sometimes get things moving faster. I'm going to take a drink so you guys like the video, please. Uh-oh. Tammy's having problems in Maryland with the fraud and freeze mess and providing your identity. Tammy, I don't know, but I do know that we're going through the same mess here in California. And here in California, the ID process, depending on which method we were asked to do, is taking anywhere from like 30 days really to about 8 weeks. But, you know, basically in the stimulus bill, the one that passed on December 27th, there was a new requirement that all of the states crack down on that. So that's what has been happening. And just so a lot of people have been asked to verify ID. Fu says, I'm with unemployment since 2/2/20. If I reopen my claim, am I losing my remaining balance and starting all over again? Potentially, if you qualify for a new claim. If you don't have enough wage history to qualify for a new claim, then they would allow you to draw down the remaining balance and give you PEUC through like April 10th. But the thing is, like, it's my understanding that you have to try and open a remaining claim. Otherwise, they're going to kind of lock your access to the funds on the existing claim anyway. And I know that we kind of see this as like our money. We see that claim balance, we're like, that's my money, I should be able to get to it. And I even thought this at the beginning. I thought that we put money in to unemployment. We don't. That's something totally put in by our employer. And normally, under a normal year, if I was unemployed, right, I'd be out there and like required to like actively search for a job. So, you know, in theory, like, you're on unemployment for a couple of weeks, it just holds you over until you find a new job. So once you found your new job, you would not have access to those unemployment benefits again. Like, that's how it's supposed to work, kind of. Like, they don't usually mean for all of us to draw down everything that's in that claim balance. And so if this were a normal year and not a pandemic, that's kind of what they would be aiming for us to do. And that would also be true. Like, I have a claim balance. I don't know how much. It's not very much now because I'm almost at the end of PEUC. But if my movie theater could open tomorrow, I would have that claim balance, and maybe we're open and we're going along, and we get to be close to April 10th when the program expires, but for whatever reason, the cases go back up and I'm laid off again. Then I would still have like a claim balance, but I would only be able to draw it down until my benefit year ended. And that balance would still be there and they would still make me apply for a new claim. I hope that made sense. Okay. Oh boy, I'm going to butcher your name. Oh, no, I got it. Genesis New. That's probably not right, but Genesis Now? Okay, I give up. Your benefit year runs on 3/1. We'll have to call to file a new claim. That is my understanding. That's what the EDD has put in writing. It's possible that the system won't catch it and you'll be able to still certify for weeks, but then for a lot of people, those weeks are stuck pending, and then you have to call and have them, then you're stuck pending and I got distracted by the next question. Then you're stuck pending and you have to call and try and open a new claim anyway. Woken SoCal is asking if I have a PayPal. I do, but you guys don't need to PayPal me. So I'm not going to share it with you because just your thanks and you're watching this video is enough. But yeah, I have a PayPal, but I'm not sharing it. Jose de la Luz says, I certified today, and says not paid. I've been certified today. This happened. I would call them if it says not paid. Not paid can also mean that they're switching you in between programs, but if you call them, they can usually fix it faster. Amanda says, if you're part of phase 2, we answered that, Amanda. No, because that is a computer programming issue that they're still dealing with. So calling won't help. If you know for sure you're part of phase 2, it was a really small percentage of claims. I think it was only like 100,000 claims. But those 100,000 claims, that is a long time for you guys to be waiting. But since it's a computer programming issue, there's not really much that they can do to speed that up. But they have started to send out the letters that you'll be able to certify on March 7th. Francis says, happy Valentine's Day. Eliam says, I applied on December 26th. I certified mid-January. My ID was done on December 30th, but I don't know if it has been certified. So did you do that by DocuSign? With DocuSign, it's taking about 6 to 8 weeks. If you call the EDD, they can actually tell you if they have your ID stuff, and they can check to see if there's any other reason why, like, you would still be pending. Oh yeah, question mark says exhausted all available benefits, haven't worked in 2 years. So in your case, that probably means you don't qualify for a new claim. Then they should be adding 11 more weeks of through April 10th of PEUC to your claim. But call them. There should still be something available for you. Jose says, I certified for only 1 week, but I have to certify this Sunday. So, I mean, they are doing that to some claims. So it used to be if you called and manually told them that you were experiencing hardship, they would let you certify by 1 week at a time, but I'm not sure what's going on with that. Francis says, oh, get pizza from the Coop on Hughes and National. Francis, where do you live? I know right where that is. That's not too far from me. And I'll share this, even though I don't share exactly where I worked. I haven't done this in a long time, but there were times when I was able to ride my bike from my house to my job. It was less than a 5-mile trip, and I would pass the Coop on my bike ride to work. But yes, I've been to the Coop and I like them. But I like cheesy novel stuff like heart-shaped pizza. So might do that. And Savadra says, I'm still wondering why I could only certify and get paid 1 time a week instead of 2. So that can be when they're switching you from one program to the next. It might be somehow tied into if they allowed you to certify weeks because of hardship. I only know for sure that that happens when you're transferring from one program to the next, but too many people are reporting that and like only being able to certify for a week at a time for multiple weeks in a row. And that shouldn't be a multiple week in a row thing. That should be a one-time thing while your claim balance goes down to 0. And then it should start letting you certify every 2 weeks. So I have to look into that more. Gunplay says you haven't gotten paid since December. So you might be part of phase 2. If that's the case, they should be sending you a letter soon, letting you know that you can start to certify on March 7th. Daniel says, can you please explain the sudden change from PUA to PEUC? So the EDD was actually supposed to have this all done by January 23rd, but they didn't. There is a new requirement in the stimulus bill that passed on December 27th that it told not only the EDD, it told every unemployment office that, hey, if these people were denied Fed Ed and put on PUA, now they have to go back to PEUC. So that's why that's happening. They're required to by the new stimulus bill. NUFO says regular unemployment exhausted January 2nd with max benefits. Any chance of getting the extension at this point? Absolutely. And maybe go ahead and call that. Should have fallen off automatically by this point. But yes, they absolutely should be giving you more extension. Veronica J says, I'm running out of my first extension, next certification. So what happens after that? Do I get another extension? Yes, that's when you would get the second PEUC extension, and that should take you through April 10th. And then after that, in the new stimulus bill, that should take us through August 29th as long as it passes. Tabeast Monster says, what do I do if I don't have any way to prove my employment verification for PUA because I worked for cash and didn't make more than $400 a year? I have gotten the PUA extension. So, I mean, you would probably just need to write them a letter and explain that it was a cash business. And then they would probably just give you the lowest weekly benefit amount of $167. Oh. Dawn, says nice sweater. Thank you. You're on PEUC. Your end of year is 4/5/21. What will I need to do? So according to the EDD, they're going to have you try and open a whole new claim. And if you qualify for a new claim, then you would get 26 fresh weeks of unemployment benefits. In your case, if you didn't qualify for a new claim, I got to think about this because you're at the end of your PEUC and you don't use that up until 4/5. So there's like 1 week until the phase out of the second PEUC. You would potentially get Fed Ed if you meet the earnings requirement. And if you didn't qualify for Fed Ed and you didn't qualify for a new claim, by 4/5, we should know for sure if that stimulus package passed. Basically, there's going to be a path for all of us to keep getting benefits and through August. It's just going to be a matter of which program. I do think they're going to try and have us all apply for new claims, but a lot of us are not going to get approved for that. So it's really going to be a matter of what's in that new stimulus bill, but you will still have something at that point. Yeah, PEUC would go to Fed Ed unless you haven't gotten your second PEUC, and then you would just get 1 week of PEUC because that right now totally expires 4/10. But we do expect that we'll get more benefits in this new stimulus bill. Okay. Hope that made sense, and thank you so much for the donation. Okay. Oops. You guys, I'm probably going to stop answering questions in about 5 minutes, and unfortunately, I'm almost 50 minutes behind. When Sierra wants to know when do I, so I'm going to just kind of read some random questions. Sierra says, when do I think the next stimulus package will be passed? They're talking about mid-March when it gets passed. And then, of course, there's going to be a little bit of programming delays as they update the system, which is why, like, I really, if you can, try and set some money aside for savings. Derek says they did IDMe on Thursday and was able to certify my 6 weeks of benefits yesterday and got his check ending 12/26. So that sounds great. I done did it. Says I do text support and use a different browser on the site. It will tell you which browser to use. That's interesting. People are saying though not to use, like, where would we see that information? I done did it because, like, I don't know. At my job, which one did, like, ours didn't like Internet Explorer. I don't know why some computer programs don't like some systems, or maybe it was Chrome that ours didn't like, but ours was tricky with some also. So yeah, on ID.me, it doesn't like Safari, which is like what iPhones default to if you're using your iPhone to try and verify your identity. Angel says, I'm able to certify, but I have 5 weeks stuck pending. It's under review, but it's taking too long. That is definitely when you want to reach out to your assembly members. Yeah. Cecilia says you are owed this money. If the government is telling you you can't work, they have to pay you. Don't lose hope. Absolutely. Christy says use Chrome only. Someone says the EDD is hiring. Thousands have quit. I wonder why. Someone says they use Firefox. They only have to pay you if you qualify. Well, that's true. That's true. It says your benefit year is supposed to end on April 10th. So that probably means your PUA, and we do expect that to be extended in the new stimulus bill through August 29th. Derek says, thanks for your help. Shows being paid for 6 weeks, just waiting for B of A to post payment. Oh, that is good news. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Oh, Lisa Burke says, I have 5 weeks pending, and apparently my benefit year is now over, but I have $2,500 balance. I'm getting nowhere, not sure if I need to ID me. I tried, but unsuccessful. There's a glitch. You guys don't do ID me unless it asks you to. They're actually saying that that's one of the things that causes you to need to speak with a referee, is if you kind of like tried to get out ahead of it and did it on your own. So if they didn't ask you for that, I would just leave it alone. It is, and I'd gone through a couple times. I hope you were able to hear it about why you would have a balance left on your claim, but also your claim year end. So my recommendation to you, according to what the EDD has said that they want, is for you to open a new claim. But they should have been able to help you do that over the phone. So really, I would recommend trying to call the EDD and have them do that with you over the phone. Let's see. Anthony's going to have that same problem. FedEd just added enough to take him 11 weeks, but a month short of my year claim end date of 4/5. So you'll get that money through 4/5, and then hopefully by 4/5, that new stimulus bill will pass. That'll take us all through August 29th. Justine, you are welcome. More people reporting only 1 week. More people saying happy Valentine's Day. Ed says, I'm on PUA and get paid once a week only for the last month. Did you at any point call them and have them help you certify? That's what used to happen when there was like a hardship thing. Edgar is saying you were disqualified because they made an error. Now I need to appeal. It's going to take forever, with angry faces. I would be angry too, and the appeal process is taking a long time. So Edgar, please reach out to your assembly member. Let them know what happened. Maybe there's a way for them to help you with that. Okay, Pigeon said that answers his question. Yeah. Sly Guy says, when I file a new claim, what income do I use? You would just use whatever you were getting from your last job, your last employer. Also, have them, you can do that over the phone with them, and then it's faster. Okay. It's faster if you can get through, I should say. All right. Yes, Bella's saying good advice from the auto transfer. Heidi's taken off. Bye, Heidi. Okay, got Dawn's. And IDMe. IDMe, I wish I could see the first. I probably could find your question, but I'm skipping around here. Oh, you're in Ohio. And they stopped paying state and only paid the FPUC. That is really weird. I'll try and look into some stuff on Ohio. Sorry, just reading around here. Tony says, I'm 5 weeks behind. I don't know whether on PC or what to try to reopen my claim. And I'm not good at computers at all. 5 weeks behind. And today you filed today. Tony, try and call them maybe. Do you have a friend or relative that could, wear 2 masks and you guys could go to the library and maybe go on a computer with you and help you? Also write to your assembly member. That should just be an email. I'll link it in the video after I'm done streaming. It's in most of my videos, how to find them, and they're often able to help. Someone's name is Booberry, which I love because that's a Halloween. Cereal. Honestly, come Monday, the EDD is probably going to disqualify everyone because of ID verification. It might be a lot of people. That's why my last 2 videos have been about that. But I hope that doesn't happen. Dawn says, what happens when the next 11-week extension is over, which I think is 3/10 of 2021. So it phases out. Some people, so then you would go to, then they would see if you qualify for Fed Ed. Let's see if we can go. I can't do it right now. I have the flow chart. So let's see. It depends on when your benefit year is over is part of it. So if your benefit year is over, they're going to want you to do a whole new claim. If you're out of PEUC and those programs end, then they would see if you qualify for Fed Ed. Some people are still going to, if you still have a claim balance on your PEUC after 3/13 is when it is, then it'll let you draw down that balance on PEUC all the way through April 10th. And then after April 10th, that's when we're hoping there's going to be the new stimulus bill by then. And they should. They're expecting that will pass by March 13th or 14th. And then we should be on extension until August 29th and not having to worry about all this stuff as much. But even let's say the stimulus bill doesn't pass, nothing. You would draw down your PEUC balance either through when it hits 0 or when you get to April 10th. And then that's when they would see if you qualify for Fed Ed. And Fed Ed right now is lasting up to 20 weeks. Now, Fed Ed is not a program that's available to people on PUA. So people on PUA are relying on that new stimulus package passing, but everybody says it should pass. There might be a few small changes, but right now it looks like it's going through August 29th. So benefit year ends, apply for a new claim. If you don't get the new claim, PEUC. If not PEUC, Fed Ed, as long as you're not on a PUA claim. PUA claims need this new stimulus bill to pass. I hope that made sense. But Dawn, you said you were on PEUC, so that means you're on a regular claim. So it would probably be Fed Ed, but we think the new stimulus package will pass by then. So it's probably going to be, I don't know if they'll call it PEUC. That's part of it. We haven't seen the final language as it is because it hasn't passed yet. We know what's in the draft, but we don't know what's in the final version since it hasn't passed yet. Thank you for the donation. I hope that made sense. I do have a video with the flow chart, but the flow chart's about to be outdated kind of to April 10th. Okay, I'm going to do one more question and then figure out where I'm going to order a heart-shaped pizza from. Let's do, I like Billy Bob's name. Billy Bob Yeehaw. I did 2 weeks and it said 1 week paid and the next week pending. That can be as you're switching between programs. But I would call them about that. So if I still have $3,000 and I'm still on the 11-week extension, but my year ends, what do I do? It is my understanding that they want you to try and apply for a new claim. And that could actually be why that week is pending. That could be pending because that week might be the week your benefit year ended, and then they're wanting you to apply for a new claim. Oh yeah, Monday's President's Day, guys. So I meant to say that before. So they won't be kicking everybody off on Monday. It won't be going to disqualified then because the EDD is closed tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Now, these holidays are not supposed to make it take longer for your payments to go from pending to paid and to go from the Bank of America and to get onto the Bank of America card. But almost every time there's a holiday, it's like a small number of people that don't have issues and a large number of people that are like, I'm pending, I'm pending, I'm pending. So keep in mind that that will be a little bit normal. If it's pending longer than 72 hours, that's when I would worry about that. Thank you for that reminder, Carrie. They're the worst workers in the state. You guys, when I called the EDD, it was someone working from home from like Kentucky. So it's not even necessarily people answering the EDD phones that are even in California, because the EDD has like outsourced this to different like call centers, and those call centers have people from all over. It's really crazy. Uh-oh. JD, I missed your super chat. Hold on, JD. Are you sure? Okay, I'll scroll for yours, JD. I'm looking for your super chat, JD. I'm so sorry. Oh, how long does it take to get paid after reapplying? You're right. I did miss that, and I'm so sorry. I don't know how. It didn't put it to the top. Oh, LA Barbie. Let me get to JD's. So after reapplying, if you reapply on your own, and by reapply you mean file a whole new claim, it's at least 3 weeks because it's going through the whole process again. If you call and you have someone help you with it, that's getting it done faster than it would just applying on your own. So about 3 weeks from opening a new claim, if you do it yourself without the help of a representative over the phone. If you do it with a representative over the phone, because they're kind of able to tell right away if you qualify for a new claim and you need to be switched over to the new claim, or they can tell right away if you don't have enough to qualify for a new claim, and then that's when they can load up the additional PEUC weeks on your claim. So that's why it's faster, because they can kind of tell right over the phone with you. And then that way too, I know a lot of people are concerned about how to answer the questions because they're like, do I need to answer them the same as when I first applied because I haven't worked since then? I kind of do, even if you need to reapply, recommend calling. But about 3 weeks if you do it on your own, and almost instantly, like without gaps in certifying, if you call and have a rep helping. And I'm sorry I missed your question. And LA Barbie, thank you so much for the donation. My mom is doing great. I got on my Valentine's Day sweater. But you guys, seniors, it's breaking my heart. Seniors have really been affected by the pandemic. My mom used to love going to the senior center, but now I'm the only person that she sees. And seniors, like, there's like a correlation between how much social interaction they have and like how active their brains stay and like just how healthy they are in general. And so my heart really goes out to all the seniors that maybe are getting visited less because their kids and grandkids are trying to keep them safe. So they're not visiting them as much as they want to, but man, it's rough. But my mom's she's doing okay. But she texted me that she was lonely the other day, which is code word for make sure not to get delivery for a few days and come on over and visit. So I got to visit my mom soon, but she's doing good. A little lonely, but doing good. Okay, you guys, I think that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much. Going live again tomorrow at 6 p.m. to try and answer your questions. And that's it for me today. Happy Valentine's Day.